And a lot of royal watchers were surprised, to say the least, to see Meghan Markle pop up at the Balenciaga fashion show. Now, Rebecca, this was a significant moment for Meghan, wasn't it? Significant appearance.
It was a significant moment.
Paris, the city of lights, glamour, and high fashion, turned into a city of tears last night. Beneath the dazzling flashes of cameras and the metallic hum of the Balenciaga runway, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, watched her perfectly polished world crumble right before everyone's eyes. This wasn't just a fashion mishap. It was a full-blown public meltdown, raw and unfiltered, streamed live to millions who could hardly believe what they were witnessing. It all began so flawlessly. Meghan had touched down in Paris for Balenciaga's highly anticipated fall-winter showcase, her first grand European fashion comeback since leaving royal duties. Every detail screamed, "I'm back." Her hair was sleek, the custom gown shimmered like liquid metal, and that confident walk down the carpet. It was pure headline material. Meghan Markle wasn't just attending Fashion Week, she was making a statement. Insiders say Meghan had been secretly planning this moment for months. Paris Fashion Week was supposed to be her golden chance, a European redemption arc, as one source called it. Following her lukewarm reception in the US and those faltering Netflix projects, Paris was meant to mark the beginning of her rebirth in the global spotlight. This was her rebranding moment, her declaration that she wasn't fading away. She was stepping back into power, wrapped in Balenciaga confidence. But destiny had a twist waiting for her. Somewhere between the flashing bulbs and champagne smiles, something cracked. At first, it was subtle, a shaky grin, a distant look, the kind of expression that could pass as exhaustion or deep emotion. But then, the unthinkable happened. The moment that froze the internet. Cameras caught Meghan's face tighten, her hand tremble, and her lips move as she whispered something to her handler before suddenly turning away. And then, the tears came, live, on camera. Within seconds, clips of her breakdown flooded TikTok and Twitter. Within the hour, every gossip outlet from TMZ to Daily Mail had the headline plastered everywhere. Meghan Markle breaks down at Balenciaga Paris, emotional collapse caught live. But what really drove her to tears on one of fashion's grandest stages? Insiders are now painting a picture straight out of a drama film. Word is, tension had been building behind the scenes long before the show even started. Meghan's invite, though real, apparently wasn't as exclusive as her team had made it seem, and when a few major A-listers began to overshadow her spotlight, things reportedly got tense, really tense, from Bella Hadid to Dua Lipa, the A-list royalty of fashion. Everyone seemed to get the star treatment that night, except Meghan. Reports say both were seated front and centre, soaking up the limelight, while Meghan was shockingly placed several rows back. One insider spilled to page 6. She expected front row treatment. She thought she'd be sitting beside the creative director, or next to Hollywood's biggest names. But she wasn't even included in the main press lineup. That hit hard. And just when it couldn't get worse, whispers began circling the room. Stylists and influencers were allegedly caught murmuring about her outfit, calling it off-theme and too heavy for Balenciaga's sleek, minimalist vibe. Imagine walking past a sea of side eyes and smirks. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. And to top it off, Balenciaga's creative director, Demna, reportedly greeted other VIPs with warm hugs and cheek kisses. But for Meghan, just a quick nod. That one moment said everything. Eyewitnesses say Meghan looked tense all evening. A journalist nearby even noted that she kept glancing at her phone as if waiting for coverage to drop, desperate for that social media validation. Then came the moment that shattered everything. Halfway through the show, massive LED screens lit up with a stunning montage, Balenciaga's cinematic tribute to rebellion and elegance, celebrating the women who defied convention and shaped fashion history. But suddenly, the energy in the room shifted. Out of nowhere, the montage flashed a photo of Meghan and Harry leaving Buckingham Palace in 2020, followed by a tabloid headline, "Duchess divides opinion." Then, as if scripted, came a slow zoom of her Oprah interview, that infamous moment where critics claimed she was acting like she's queen of her own Game of Thrones. The audience gasped. Was this some kind of jab? Was Balenciaga trolling her on the biggest stage in fashion? Later, insiders clarified it was meant to be artistic, a nod to cultural disruptors and the tension between fame, rebellion, and judgment. Meghan's inclusion was supposed to be symbolic, not shady. But under the hot lights of Paris Fashion Week, intent didn't matter, because in that instant, with every camera locked on her, Meghan froze, her face went pale, that famous composed smile vanished, and for a moment she looked utterly exposed. Witnesses say she leaned toward her publicist and whispered what looked like, "Turn it off," but it was too late. The tears came again, live, unstoppable, and painfully human. A nearby camera operator caught it all, crystal clear. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Fans flooded social media defending her, calling it a rare glimpse of vulnerability in an unforgiving industry. But others weren't so kind. The critics came swinging, calling it karma for her media games. One brutal viral comment summed it up coldly: "Paris doesn't do pity." She came to conquer the runway, but ended up crying on it. Ouch! Fashion can be brutal. Critics later revealed that Balenciaga's decision to use Meghan's image wasn't cleared with her team, which meant she might have felt completely blindsided. Some experts said it was understandable. After all, Meghan built her entire brand around owning her story. Seeing herself used in someone else's narrative without consent must have felt like the ultimate betrayal. Backstage, the atmosphere reportedly turned chaotic. Witnesses described pure panic. Meghan allegedly locked herself inside a private dressing suite for almost 20 minutes. Staffers overheard muffled sobs, followed by tense, heated phone calls. One security guard was even heard saying, "She's done, she's leaving." And she really did. Before the final model could even hit the runway, Meghan had already slipped out the back, head down, shielded by two guards and her visibly shaken assistant. But of course, the cameras caught everything. That footage, Meghan with red, tear-streaked eyes, mascara smudged, clutching her phone, became the viral image of the night, over 20 million views and counting. And as always, the internet had theories. Some claimed the montage was the trigger, others said it was the sting of being sidelined by fashion's inner circle. But whispers backstage hinted at something far deeper. A Paris-based journalist from Le Monde claimed Meghan had been overheard arguing on the phone right before the show, something about Netflix, image rights, and control over footage. If true, this wasn't just a one-night meltdown. It was the breaking point after months of tension, fading deals, and mounting stress. Whatever the real reason, one thing was undeniable. Paris witnessed the real Meghan that night. Not the Duchess, not the influencer, not the media-trained smile, just a woman under intense pressure, unraveling in front of the world. And as tragic as it looked, it also felt symbolic. The end of her illusion of control. Because this wasn't just one bad evening, it was the echo of 1,000 quiet cracks. The faltering projects, the skeptical press, the constant whispers in Hollywood and royal circles that maybe, just maybe, the shine was fading. By morning, every major outlet ran the same heartbreaking footage with different punchy headlines. Tears in Paris. Meghan Markle's emotional breakdown stuns Fashion Week. Balenciaga backlash. Was the Duchess blindsided? And the coldest one yet. A Duchess unraveled. Her team rushed to spin it, calling the breakdown a deeply emotional reaction to being featured as a cultural icon. But the public wasn't convinced. The unfiltered rawness of that moment, the trembling hands, the streaked mascara, the silent exit through the side door, told a story no PR statement could ever fix. The Duchess, who once proudly said she was thriving, not just surviving, now looked like she was barely keeping it together. And somewhere back in Montecito, the silence from Harry's side said it all. By morning, Paris had already moved on, but the internet, not a chance. That 32-second clip of Meghan Markle crying during the Balenciaga show had turned into a global spectacle. Memes, slow-motion edits, dramatic soundtracks, it was everywhere. Every feed was flooded with that haunting image of Meghan turning away, wiping her tears under the glittering runway lights like shards of glass. Her team hoped it would fade quietly, but no way. PR insiders revealed that crisis mode kicked in fast. A Montecito source described the mood as panic. Meghan reportedly demanded her team take the footage down immediately, but Balenciaga held the rights. It was streamed live to millions, archived, clipped, and shared endlessly. The genie was out, and there was no putting it back. Then came the media storm. Some called it a meltdown, others spun it as raw emotion. But let's be real, the tone was ruthless. especially from the British press. The Sun ran with tears, tantrums and tension. Meghan's Paris breakdown stuns fashion elite, while the Daily Mail gleefully dissected every move, the trembling hand, the lip quiver, the rushed exit. One commentator even jabbed, "For a woman who built an empire on image control, losing it in Paris was like a general dropping her sword mid-battle." But things only got messier behind the scenes. Whispers spread that the Balenciaga team wasn't impressed. Insiders claimed they saw her tears as a disruption, not drama they invited. They wanted elegance, not emotion, said one source sharply. And to make it worse, a viral TikTok from a nearby guest caught two influencers laughing and whispering, "She's crying again. Over what now?" Brutal. Meanwhile, Meghan's team scrambled to rewrite the story. Within hours, a polished statement appeared. The Duchess of Sussex was deeply moved by Balenciaga's tribute to women who have endured public scrutiny. The emotional reaction reflected her compassion and connection to the message of resilience and empowerment. It was polished, predictable, and completely unbelievable. The public wasn't buying a word of it. Comments flooded in accusing Meghan of twisting the situation once again, playing the victim card under the glossy disguise of empowerment. Critics pointed out how perfectly timed her PR statement was, filled with buzzwords like resilience and strength that felt more like a marketing script than real emotion. Online, the backlash hit hard. Thousands mocked the irony, how the same Duchess who had built a brand on being calm, composed, and unbothered was now falling apart when the spotlight turned too harsh. One viral tweet hit the nail on the head. She wanted Paris to remember her as a fashion icon. Instead, they'll remember the tears. Brutal. But beyond the chaos and the crafted statements, there was still a person behind it all. Insiders close to Meghan revealed she was genuinely devastated by how fast everything spiraled. Paris was supposed to be her triumphant return, her grand re-entry into the European elite, but instead she became a meme and a symbol of humiliation. A source told People magazine she felt completely humiliated. It wasn't supposed to go like this. They added that Meghan truly believed she'd rebuilt enough goodwill to be welcomed back into those circles, but Paris reminded her just how divided the world still is about her, and they weren't wrong. Even among royal watchers, reactions were split. Some fans felt sympathy, saying the emotional moment showed she was human after all. One supporter wrote, "Maybe being under that kind of pressure finally broke through. Anyone would crumble." But most didn't see it that way. To them, this wasn't vulnerability. It was exposure, a sign that Meghan's once perfect façade was starting to crack under the weight of her own image. And then, things got darker. While Meghan was reportedly hiding away in her Paris hotel suite, the internet exploded with conspiracy theories. Some accused her of staging the breakdown for sympathy, claiming the conveniently placed cameras and the fast PR response were no coincidence. Others believed the total opposite, that she'd been set up. The second theory hit like wildfire. Online threads claimed Balenciaga's team knew exactly what they were doing when they included her image in the show, knowing it would spark a reaction and grab global attention. One French journalist even alleged that a few producers had joked backstage beforehand, calling her the wildcard guest. Good publicity or bad, it didn't matter anymore. The story had slipped right out of Meghan's hands, and that's her worst nightmare. For someone who spent years mastering image control, Paris shattered that illusion completely. By the time she landed back in California, the headlines were still ruthless. Variety called it an emotional PR disaster, while the New York Post went straight for the jugular. Paris Fashion Week, Meghan Markle comeback crumbles in real time, out again. And the aftermath? It was brutal. Reports say Balenciaga's PR team quietly began cutting ties. They scrubbed her from certain press lists and refused to release any official photos featuring her. Even the brand's social media, which usually floods feeds with celebrity guests, skipped Meghan completely. That silence said it all. Behind closed doors, panic hit hard. Meghan's team had big plans for Paris, a follow-up Vogue spread, a possible brand collab, maybe even a soft relaunch of her image. All of that gone in a flash. Nobody wanted to touch the controversy. Insiders even revealed Harry wasn't thrilled either. He'd stayed behind in California and had reportedly warned her not to go. "It's too risky, too high profile," he told her. But she insisted, "I need to remind the world who I am." Well, the world was definitely reminded, just not in the way she hoped. Now back in Montecito, Meghan's gone radio silent. Friends say she's reassessing every public move, pulling back from major appearances and rethinking her strategy. Because critics everywhere are calling Paris the breaking point, the moment her Hollywood dreams and royal reputation collided and collapsed under the same burning spotlight. Even Lady Colin Campbell didn't hold back, saying she spent years controlling narratives, and now the narratives are controlling her. And honestly, that might be the sharpest take yet, because what happened in Paris wasn't just a PR hiccup. It was symbolic. It revealed the fragility beneath the flawless image, the exhaustion beneath the ambition. Meghan went to Paris to prove she still had influence, glamour, and grace. But instead, the city stripped all that away. What stood beneath the lights wasn't a duchess or an icon. It was a woman, tear-streaked and exposed, standing in the ruins of her own fairy tale. And whether you adore her or can't stand her, one thing's undeniable. That moment will be replayed for years, not because of her outfit, not because of who she met, but because for the first time ever, the woman who built an empire on perfection couldn't hold it together when the cameras rolled. Paris may be the city of lights, but for Meghan Markle, it became the city of tears. The night her fairy tale turned into a mirror she could no longer control. If you're following this story, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this royal drama isn't over yet.